Hi everyone. Happy New Year. Happy almost wolf moon. Let's see here. All right. So we're going to get started with the community read. Use exclamation point join to enter the queue, as you can see here. Better yet, I guess here. There you go. So use exclamation point join. Um, I know it's been so super bright. It's crazy. In fact, it was. I think it was so bright. It was already getting so bright on New Year's. I was like, "Oh, is tomorrow the super moon?" Like, I was like, I thought it was like in another day or two, so I had to like look it up. Uh, been ultimately like very beautiful. So who super excited. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our community read. Let's see like what energy we should I never take photos. I always forget. Um let's see what energy we should bring into the new year. Let's do a two-part. What should we leave behind in the year behind? Let's see. We'll do two cards. What should we leave behind? And then I'll make this like a bridge spread where we do like what is the current energy right now? Current energy right now as a community. And then what should we take into the new year? What should we take into the new year? Okay. One more. What should we take into the new year? So I'm using the Endless Oracle for this reading. All right, let's go ahead and check it out. So these are the things that we can leave behind. Ooh, the Demon King and the Princess. These are, of course, I get the specialty cards and I'm like challenged in front of the group. I have to see what these stand for. The Demon King is power, control, and manipulation, along with the Princess, which is wisdom, resourcefulness, and preparedness. So they're like counterintuitive to each other. So for the Demon King here, this is one of the newer cards in this deck that I added to it. So it says when the Demon King appears in your reading, matters of power, control, or importance, you find yourself facing a rival who is trying to manipulate you or others. Alternatively, you might find yourself in a situation in which you need to gain control for yourself. When this card appears, examine the power dynamics of your situation. So for the Princess, it says the wisdom of the princess surrounds the concepts of being ready for anything and knowing how to make the best of one's resources and surroundings to help overcome challenges. When this card appears, it is time to focus with a clear mind and put your cunning to work. This card may advise you to carefully plan for dangerous journeys or challenges. It may be encouraging you to make better use of wasted resources or opportunities. So I think with these paired together, in terms of like how we can leave or why we should leave these behind, I think that this is saying, there's a few parts, and you'll have to let me know which part is meaningful to you guys. Since this is a community read, the Demon King is saying that there are moments in last year that you felt like you were not in control and you had to almost, what's that word? It's like you had to feel like you were flying by the seat of your pants, so to speak, and feeling like you had to over prepare, almost like, a prepper style, but for just life in general. Hi, user. I'm sorry. YouTube has like hid username, so I'm so sorry. Let me know what your name is or what you like to be called. So I think in 2025, it was a lot of being on that hamster wheel of feeling like you were being pulled in every which way that you just simply didn't want to go to, and having to make the best of it. Oh, hey, Four. And the princess was there as a survival mechanism. So it's like saying, like, let's leave that behind. So this could mean if there were outside forces that were pulling you in every which way in terms of like people or work or whatever, don't let that influence you anymore. Or if it was your own self where you felt like you were not being the best you could be, and you were maybe self-sabotaging at points and then having to pick up the pieces, leave that behind. So let's see what our energy is for right now. One sec. Come on, Linda. Hi to your fandom. Good girl. Okay. Turn around. So, this is the fallen hero. This is our energy right now, where we might have left off 2025 feeling a little beat down, a little downtrodden. The fallen hero, though, in the story always goes through these little lulls and low points before they're able to get back up again. So, just remember that there are always these lessons the hero has to go through. Think of 2024 as part of that lesson. Think of this combination that I talked about of being pulled in different directions by the Demon King and having to fall into survival mode as the princess, as part of those lessons that form your story as the fallen hero. So that, I mean, we're literally only 2 days into 2026, right? So I'm not counting this as the energy we're taking into 2026. This is just kind of the snapshot of what things are looking like. And as I'm talking, this is how you can start to form what you want your 2026 to actually look like. So we have the merchant and then we have the hero. And I love that we're ending with the hero here. So these are the two cards that we are taking into 2026. This is how we're going to shape our new year. This is how we're going to shape ourselves in the new year. The merchant, you can take this literally, like if you want to start a new business or a side hustle, a side gig, whatever, what have you. That could be a very literal translation of this merchant. But I think that the other part of the merchant that I want to highlight for us as a community is where we're giving our time and energy, and are we overspending that? Are we giving too much and not getting enough back in return? Or are we giving too much and not allowing ourselves the chance to recharge and refuel and just recoup whatever it is we're spending, so to speak? And okay, bye, Luna. And where was I? Yeah, so I think the merchant here is just a sign of creating like a healthier balance of give and take, right? So if you think of yourself as a shopkeeper, right, you're giving a certain amount of energy and you should be getting something in return, and it's a two-way street of that keeps things balanced. And that balance, however you see that balance, is really up to you to determine. It's those boundaries are for you to create. And then we're ending here with our hero, who is, if you look at our hero here, like going off on his or her journey. And I think that it's like the idea of overcoming the things that you are wanting to leave behind, going through this sort of low point and feeling very much more like you're in control of the direction that you're going. And I think 2026 is really going to be the year where we as a community feel more confident and in control of the things that are happening, and more like we are the authority and more like we're the authority of our own path. So this feels like a really good year for us as a community. So all of you guys are subscribed right now, so obviously that's not going to be a question, but it feels like really great energy that we are taking as a whole into 2026, and I'm really looking forward to it. All right, so I have Jean, Four, and Ari in the queue. If you didn't hear your name, I don't think I missed anyone. If you didn't hear your name, then make sure you use exclamation point join to join the queue. I am going to be using the Endless Tarot for our main readings. If you would like a more detailed reading to include the Endless Oracle or something else, make sure you use you can purchase either a mini reading or a full reading. Gene, I like that, like pretending you know what, let's just go into 2026 delusional as a community. The more delusional the better. Alrighty, Gene, you're up. Go ahead, put your question in the chat. Is it February 1st? When does the Chinese New Year actually start? Is it on the 1st or some other day in February? So for the Year of the Dragon, which is my favorite because I'm the Year of the Dragon, I was in Vegas and I got to see the God, what hotel was it? Let me see if I can. The Bellagio always does a really, really, really cool like display for the 17th. Okay, good. They always do a really awesome display for whatever the you know Chinese zodiac is for that year. And I got to like see the Year of the Dragon, which is my year. Oh my god, I had a blast. It was so well done. It was so beautiful. I mean, I'm sure all the other years are cool, but Year of the Dragon's the best. So let's see what's coming towards you with I before. Oops, cards are mixed in here. 1 second. Before, and the deck's upside down. There we go. All right, so let's see what's coming with you. What's coming with your connection with I before the New Year, Chinese New Year begins in February. It's nice not to get your hopes up. I think it's like about, instead of saying get your hopes up, I like to look at it as I'm starting off in a good foot and then we'll see what happens. Because, yeah, I definitely got my hopes up for 2020 and we all know what happened there. So, you have the Judgment and the Seven of Swords. So, I'm very curious here with this. I don't know what y'all's background is exactly, but when Judgment shows up, this is like the final leg, and this is the card of like awareness and understanding where you stand in a lot of situations, and especially in whatever situations they're asking about, right? But Judgment is like the fully like aware card in terms of being fully clear about what's going on and getting the full picture of everything happening around you in regards to the situation that you're in. So I feel like For January, everything between you and I are going to become very, very clear. And I really think that it's going to hinge on this Seven of Swords here, which isn't the most positive of cards in this regard, in this question here. So, Judgment is the second to last card in the Major Arcana. This is like coming up to really being able to reflect on the whole journey, and being able to reflect on, if you want to see the bottom of the card, sure, bottom of the deck rather. I don't look at the bottom of the deck, so that's up to you. I'm not going to read that. It is the Five of Swords though. So the Judgment card has a lot of energy around it, being fire, and then the Seven of Swords has a good amount of energy around it, being the air card, and together they can be very fueling in a good way and also very combustive in a bad way. So I think that with the Seven of Swords here, there's some things that are just hidden behind the curtain, and I think with the Judgment card, you're now seeing behind that curtain. I don't know that it's inherently what's the word? I don't know that it's inherently deceptive, or if it's just a matter of like someone not knowing how to be open and being communicative, and then they're hiding things by unintentionally being closed off. And but the Seven of Swords specifically leans more like, intuitively it feels like it's leaning more towards like intentionally hiding things. So I do like to tell people there are these different options, but like this is the vibe that I get from it, where you discover things that like the only reason you learn the truth about stuff is because you stumble upon it, or it's somehow thrown at you in some kind of way. It's not an intentional communicative thing. It's not like this person ends up opening up and saying like, oh, I've kind of not told you about these things because I didn't know how to, but it's more so like, oh, I was hiding these things, and there'll probably be some excuses around it. Seven of Swords is generally the card of like deception. A lot of times the person is sneaking around. You can kind of see that there's a person in the foreground who's kind of running off, and there's a person in the background sort of discovering them, so to speak, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know necessarily what's going to come about, but it does seem like January is going to, you'll be able to see the oh, you do know exactly what it's in reference to? Okay. Good. I mean, not good, but good. I'm glad that it makes sense. It's always funny when I'm like doing readings for people, especially online. Like it's way harder to give readings to people online because you can't like see them or hear them and stuff like that. And so sometimes I'm like, does this make sense? Am I crazy? So thank you for the confirmation there. 4, you are up next. Angelic, use exclamation point. Well, number 1, use exclamation point join to join the queue. And 2, I don't do other people's feelings and stuff like that. So if your brother is or is not okay, I'm not going to look into that. That's good. Good for you for noticing stuff, because I feel like people don't notice. You're very welcome. People don't notice things, or they notice and then brush them off. So good on you for not brushing it off. Okay, let's see for what Spirit wants to know right now. 4, you should change your username, because YouTube is such a like insert bad word here, because I can only see, like I can only see this. And I don't know if you're in other live streams, but um, yeah, it it kind of sucks. All right, let's see for what spirit wants to tell you. Ooh, okay, we have the King of Wands and the Ace of Swords. So I really feel like Spirit's telling you like right now is a really good time to make some moves about stuff. Like if you have some things that you've kind of not necessarily put on the back burner, but you haven't actually taken the step to like apply them or do them yet, this is a really great time to. You have a lot of energy picking up around you. It doesn't feel like that a lot of times because this time of year we're still in the darker time of year and things are a lot slower for the most part, so people tend to wait till a little later. But I think Spirit's telling you like go ahead and do things now. It's right for you. The King of Wands, he has the vision for like the domain that he wants to build or the domain that he wants to oversee and stuff like that. And um I think that this is a sign that's saying like, okay, whatever you've been thinking of, whatever has been inspiring you and fueling you for now has really, you have the skill set, you have the knowledge, the know-how, you have the ability to make it a real thing and go ahead and do it. And the Ace of Swords is, aces are great in terms of wanting to start something new. Um, whether it be brand new or just a new path along what you've already been doing. Because aces are those beginnings, starting fresh or starting down a slightly different path than what you have been going down. And the Ace of Swords specifically, there is this air of victory with the Ace of Swords, especially mentally, where I think it would be really good for you for your mental health. I think it would be really good for your confidence. And I think that it would be a very great fueling cycle here between the King of Wands, knowing what they want to do, being able to apply what they want to do, and have it be very fulfilling. So I think that right now, Spirit is just telling, go do the thing. Do it. But I also like too that you got the king. The king is just overall a very confident individual. The kings are very sure of themselves, and um, you don't have to wait for any one particular moment to be able to do something. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, let me read off who I have in the queue. Up now is Ari, and then I have Kelsey, Midnight, and Capricorn. Welcome to the queue, y'all. Happy New Year. If you did anything fun, or if you're planning to do anything witchy, or even not witchy for the new moon, let me know. Full moon. I was gonna say the full moon of the new year, and then it came out crazy. So, Angelic, make sure you use exclamation point in front of that join there. You want it to look like this. You want that exclamation point there. Hi, Luna. Welcome back. All right, last call for Ari. And then I'm going to go on to Kelsey. Hi, Luna. I know. It's crazy. Okay. She's being a butt. Ooh, you eating anything good? I ate a little bit earlier. I try not to eat too much before the live streams, otherwise I might get drowsy. Hey, Paulo. You want to say hi to your adoring fans? I don't know if he'll do it, y'all. You want to say hi? No, he's not much of a talker. Ugh, you smell a little farty too, Apollo. All right, Apollo. All right, let's see what kind of characteristics your future spouse might have in common with people you've dated in the past. Right. Yeah, Apollo's out here hotboxing people. Okay, we have the oh wow progression here: 8 of Swords and 9 of Swords. Um, it's very interesting, very weird. Um, so the it's interesting that you have consecutive numbers here. I just tend to like to point them out. Um, I think that I worry that there are similarities, but in a not so good way. The 8 of Swords is about like putting yourself in a box, but a box that you're not necessarily happy with. So I worry you're putting yourself in you're finding people, and maybe you find someone and you're like just okay, and then you just settle. I worry that that's what some of this is. The 9 of Swords is really about like just feeling very anxious. This is a very stressful, high anxiety, high stressful card. So it feels like you are putting a lot of stress on yourself to find someone. And I worry that might could lead to you putting yourself in a box that leads you to finding the same people that you've always dealt with, but like the lesser of all the evils, if that makes sense. Um, I think that you have 2 swords here is indicative of really, really being in your head about this situation. Like you might be standing in your own way in terms of already feeling like things are, no, I won't say already feeling, but you could be putting yourself in a like high anxiety situation that could lead to you feeling like, oh, well, it's hopeless to want anything else. It's like pointless to want anything else, and you just kind of like live in the box that you've already been in. So I think that there's some advice here about the missing cards, right? So this is all swords, this is all internal, this is all about like how you treat yourself and less so about like who your future spouse is. I think there you can kind of glean some of it in a sense like if you're putting yourself in a box, you've set this box up and you just accept whatever you're going to accept. You can kind of glean that like, oh, you're going to end up in this with the same people, same as you called them, losers that you have been before, but maybe just the lesser of the losers, which we don't want. So I think the advice in this is all the missing stuff, right? There are no pentacles here. There's nothing grounding you and getting you out of your head. There's no cups here. There's nothing about like what it is your heart wants and what it is that makes you happy. There's no wands here. So like where are you feeling passionate about things? And yeah, exactly. The lesser of the evils is still an evil, and we don't want that. So um I think one of the lessons of the cards is to uh figure out like, I think that this is a little future, right? This is where you're leading down right now. If we look at tarot as like a snapshot of where we are right now. And I think that you can pivot out of this. You just have to do so deliberately to avoid being like, okay, well, I give up. I'm just going to put myself in a box. So that's the part that you're going to have to explore, and you're going to have to maybe be a little tough with yourself on and challenge yourself on. And, you know, It kind of goes back to the community read we did earlier about leaving behind the manipulative stuff and feeling like we're in survival mode, and being able to open ourselves up to being able to create our own path as we go forward, and making sure that when we do so, our interactions with people are an equal give and take. So all of our relationships are, whatever energy you give out, you're getting back. Oh yeah, you don't want to end up baby trapped by any of these fools. But I think that too, like if you take a step back and take a breather, you kind of start to notice trends in people, and it starts to become very, very easy to pick out things in the crowd. Like you start to notice red flags way sooner than you were than like when you were younger, right? You have more of that life experience. You have just overall, you can understand those lessons learned and you can apply them way sooner and way quicker. Um, than you would have been able to in the past. Alrighty, Kelsey, you're up next. Yeah, no baby trappings with a-holes. Exactly, midnight. This cracks me up. You have to be cautious of your salt content. When have you ever been cautious of your salt content, midnight? Oh, we're talking about food. Sorry. That's hilarious. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I vaguely recall, you're still fairly young, Ari. So I think it's just like a matter of applying those lessons learned and being able to seek out better people. Like I feel like you should start to notice a trend where they start to get better, better, better. I mean, also too, the dating pool is like in hell right now. It sucks. It's a horrible time to like be dating in general, honestly, of any age now that I think about it. I mean I did mean what I said, which is really funny, but I did not realize y'all were talking about food. Alrighty, last call for Kelsey, and then we'll go on to midnight. We have Capricorn, maybe baby. Hopefully I said that, and then Angelica. Oh, I'm sure somebody will get conned into that, but that's not your problem. Alrighty, midnight. You are up next, Capricorn. Um you are in the hole right now. No, you're on deck right now. Gotta remember my baseball terminology. So midnight's up now. She's up at bat. And then Capricorn, you are on deck. And maybe baby, you are in the hole. Yeah. Ooh, ancestor message. Awesome. I haven't done one of these for you in a while. I'm going to pull 3 cards because I want to. All right. One more. Here we go. These cards are very floppy and are a little hair on the thinner side than I would have liked, but so we have the 9 of Cups, we have the King of Pentacles, and then we have the Knight of Pentacles. I'm going to start in the middle here with your King. I love that we have the King here in the center of your reading, midnight. The King, I mentioned in a previous reading, the Kings are they're one of the 2 of the mature personalities of the court cards, the kings specifically like to rely on a lot of their wisdom and knowledge of situations. They imbue a lot of that air energy, so similar to swords, so to speak. But then we have this paired with the pentacles. So while they can be very thoughtful, very wise, they're very grounded and they're able to apply it for things that are very realistic to them. So the King of Pentacles tends to be very good with money, tends to be very practical, tends to just have a sure sense of what their home life and health and all of that tends to be. And they also have a very clear vision of what they want it to be. So, excuse me, I'm so thirsty today. I think I'm still in a hydration deficit from New Year's Eve. Um, but overall, I think the message is this King of Pentacles. The overall theme. You're welcome, Ari. Luna, she has the zoomies. So if we go back here to the Nine of Cups, I personally always label the Nine of Cups as like the wishes granted card. This is where you emotionally feel like you are in the process of, or you have already begun to receive the things emotionally that are fulfilling to you. You haven't reached like the ultimate pinnacle of fulfillment, that would be the Ten of Cups, but you are getting there and things are looking good, things feel happy. And this is about tapping into that energy, letting it shape what it is that you love about your domain and the things that you can rule over and you can be confident over as this King of Pentacles, and being able to apply that to other things. You can also make it a little more realistic, a little more practical, just let it nurture and grow things. There's this really lovely pairing between Cups and Pentacles where, the water energy fuels the earth energy and it helps create this environment for a lot of growth. Very slow moving, but I really like that, especially for the beginning of the year, right? And a message from your ancestors. This is something that you're building up, and this is something that is gonna stick with you for a while, and something that you could take a lot of time and patience to shape. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. This is where the energy picks up a little bit, but not too much. The Knight of Pentacles is specifically the most patient of our knights, but still active. So our knights, where our kings imbue that air energy, our knights imbue that fire energy, similar to wands, but still has that groundedness that the Pentacles gives us. So our knight is still moving on. You can see that. There we go. You can see that our knight is still going along their path, just kind of moseying though, right? Not in a rush, very carefully moving forward. But the thing that I really like about the knights is that there's ambition. So the kings sometimes have already set out to do everything that they want to do. They have control over everything, and it's almost like a well-oiled machine. But the Knight of Pentacles sees things for like advancement and growth, and they move. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles is my favorite too. I'm very biased about Pentacles though, so I feel like your ancestors just see this in you, and I think they see this nice steady movement. There's nice ebb and flow that's happening, but there's still this element of stillness. So you're not fully getting your Four of Swords here, but there is this nice, so slow, steady march forward, so to speak. Yeah, moseying forward with coffee and sass. I need that on a mug and a t-shirt and a sticker. Alrighty, Capricorn, you are up next, and then maybe baby, you were after Capricorn, and then Angelic. So let me know y'all are still in the chat. I saw maybe baby a while ago, but just let me know you guys are still there, so you don't miss your spot. You're welcome, Midnight. So Capricorn, I don't do like people's feelings because that's like their business, but I can see what the energy is between y'all if you're cool with that, or if you have a different question in mind, you can let me know. Don't forget to like this video, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna use this just as a just as a focal point. All right, let's see what the energy is between y'all. Thanks for letting me know. Maybe. All right, so we have the Devil card and the Six of Wands. So, anytime the Devil card pops up in a reading about relationships, it kind of raises my hackles a little bit. The Devil is can be a sign of like codependence in a kind of way, or over dependence, where let me back up. With relationship readings, it could go one of two ways. If this is something where you just want it to be, not, pretty superficial, you just want to be a fun time, Devil card can actually be pretty cool because it's like the sex, drugs, and rock and roll card of the tarot, in my opinion. But if you want it to be a substantial, like fulfilling thing that's going on, not generally a good sign. The Devil card is... and it's funny because your name is the Capricorn Sun and the Devil card is the Capricorn card. This is really like indicative of being wound too tight around somebody that isn't necessarily the best for you. So it seems like the connection between y'all probably isn't or wouldn't be the healthiest. Paired with the Six of Wands, it feels almost like you have to fight to stand out with this person and fight to like be seen, and what it feels like is an imbalance of energy between y'all, where you're putting so much in, or you will be putting so much in and getting little to nothing in return. But that need for recognition between these two cards is what drives you to continue to do that. So it doesn't seem the healthiest. I would be a little weary, but again, too, if you just want to have some fun, then go for it, right? Like that's the defining factor in what you're looking for with A. Whether this is something you want to be more deep, fulfilling thing, or more of a short, fun, superficial kind of thing. Alrighty, maybe go ahead and put your question. You're up next. You're welcome, Capricorn. I'm digging this deck. I've been using it for myself mostly. So like this came recently, and then this is the older version. I do wish they were the same cardstock. You can kind of see like the difference between the coloring, and see if you can catch it. Like the finish here is different. Yeah. So I kind of wish that they had been the same. It doesn't bother me as much, but yeah. Ooh, maybe. So you're moving. Are you talking about just? I guess so. I'm clear. Are you talking about moving houses, or are you just saying this move like next steps, like next? Okay, upcoming move with your partner. Cool. Okay, I'm guessing you mean physically, like moving, maybe moving together or moving in together or something like that. Ooh, apartment. Okay, cool. Thank you. Just wanted to clarify so I wasn't like thinking the wrong thing. That's a great question. Let's see what you should do to secure this move. Alrighty. Well, we have our first repeat of the night. We have our the Knight of Pentacles here, and then we have Death. So I think that part of it is going to be, I don't know if you're at some like tight deadline or anything like that, but make sure that you are being active in what you're doing with this Knight of Pentacles here, but like being very deliberate. Set some like actionable goals to getting things packed up, getting things put away, getting things moved to the new location, stuff like that. But don't overwhelm yourselves. Like create a game plan where you can make things make sense. And like the Knight of Pentacles is very practical in the ambitions that they set for themselves. So, make sure, sorry, this music is not it. So make sure that you are not putting too much on your plate at once. And then with this Death card, this is going to be really important about I think there are going to be points where you have to switch up how you have originally made plans to do certain things. This could be for a few reasons. It could be because movers are not ready until a certain day, or the timeline to get movers, or if you have friends helping you and their availability. It could be a plethora of stuff, right? So make sure you have some flexibility in your schedule, and you have things that you can flop around. Um, but the Death card is about transformation and just evolution and being able to evolve. And um, there's a little bit of go with the fluidness that feels like it's happening here. So while moving can be very, very stressful, don't let things that pop up derail you. Just let it just reorient how you're going to handle things. But overall, these feel like very controllable things that you have. The Death card might be indicative of some like, things being thrown at you in terms of obstacles, but they don't seem insurmountable. So as long as you keep that slow and steady mindset where you've planned ahead enough that you have enough buffer, you have enough, resources, boxes, whatever. You have enough ahead of time that you can make things work. So it seems very much like you're already really on a good path in how things have been set up. It's just a reminder to keep that in mind during times, like moving, when it can get fairly stressful. But congrats on the move. I do know that it can be very stressful, especially if you're doing it like right now around the holidays, with everything else going on. It's a good time of year to move, though. It tends to be a little cheaper, everything right now. Um, Angelic, go ahead, put your question in the chat, and then I have Sab and Munta in the queue. Yeah, you're very welcome. I do not envy you. You're very, very welcome. Hi, Luna. I know. It's weird. I went live early, right? All right, last call for Angelic. Alrighty, Sab, you are up next. Remember, guys, so I only do like short readings for free. If you would like a little more detail or a little more time spent on a reading, you can book a mini reading or a full reading. And I'll put those links in the chat here. Ooh, let's see what 2026 has for you. It's a great question. Let's see what's next for your career in 2026. Ooh, if you have two major arcana cards, I feel like you're going to make some important changes in 2026, but I don't think they're necessarily defined yet. So, I think that this year is about planting the seeds to make a lot of big changes. And you might start to, I mean, it is like January 2nd, right? So if you, this is something that you are gonna start doing now and build up to, I do recommend like in the summer to come back and like check on this in a little more detail. But I think right now what's happening is that you're, I don't know if you're pivoting careers or you're starting a new career and you have a lot of different options for you, but you have the Hierophant and the Lovers, and you have consecutive cards here. So very much is indicative of a journey, a forward motion here that's happening. The Hierophant suggests some traditions, but also the also reaching out to a mentor. It could be like, and that could be a few things, so a little ambiguous. This is one of those readings where I'm like, oh, I wish I had like more time and I would dive into these a little deeper, but it feels like um there's a little bit of putting yourself out there in terms of networking and recruiting and finding people in the field or fields that you're wanting to dive into either a little deeper or pivot into, so that way you can start to put your feelers out into the world. Oh, you just passed your CPA. Congrats. That is applause. I need like an applause soundboard. That's a huge achievement. So I think that, spending a good portion of this year, putting yourself out there, putting networking, finding a mentor in the field or fields that you're thinking you want to go down. I think that it's a few different things, a few different options that you have, because with the Lovers card, this is indicative of being able to make choices about what it is you want to pursue. And almost being at a crossroads where you have different options that are like different paths that are laid out ahead of you. But how do you know which one's right for you unless you do a little research and you do a little like, you know, feeling around and asking mentors and stuff like that. So I think that a good portion of this year is going to be about that. You probably will get some, I mean, I highly doubt you're like not going to get a job, but I think that this is the exploratory year where you are exploring all of your options, all of the things that you have available to you, all of the different opportunities and what that could mean for you. I do feel like if you're planting those seeds now, just reassess again in the second half of the year and see what you should do. And if you're kind of thinking in your head about like, oh, I'm kind of leaning between these different things, then reassess and see, what are the next steps for you career wise. But yeah, again, congrats on your on passing your exam. You're so welcome. Alrighty, Munta, you're up next. Last but not least, who is Noor and who is Hamza? Are you Noor? Luna is being a piece of work right now. Okay, I just wanted to check. So you want to know what the result of the work you're doing on Hamza is? Ooh, that was a nice shuffle. Okay, let's see. Oopsie. Let's see what the work you're doing on Hamza is gonna be. Alrighty. So we have the Five of Wands and King of Wands. I don't know what work are you doing. The Five of Wands is so the King of, let me start with the King of Wands. King of Wands, I think that there is like this positive element in terms of like the work that you're doing going well, but it's not going to be with like out some obstacles, because like the King of Wands, they can be a little maybe overbearing at some points, but like the King of Wands is very, they have the ability to lead the people around them. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean I don't mean that in like some sort of awful kind of way. Um but they have just like natural leadership abilities. They're a little charismatic in the sense that they're inspirational. But the Five of Wands indicates that there are going to be some challenges that you face. I think just because you have this paired with the King of Wands, you'll be able to overcome them. Um, the challenges feel like they are going to be competition from other people telling him different things than what you're telling them, and it will be up to you to make your mm, your point of view shine above everybody else's. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I think with the King of Wands that you will inch out in this being a positive outcome for yourself. It's just you have to understand that it won't be smooth sailing. It won't be without some challenges. Um, the, a little actually. Yeah, you have two Wands cards. So I didn't ask if you change when he would change, but I think that you getting your point across would happen very fairly soon. The Wands are very fast moving, like days into like maybe a week kind of energy, like even to the point where if you've already sort of been talking about this stuff in the past, there's a spark that could already be happening right now. So this is very soon. Um, that is a little different than saying when he'll actually change, because that could be a whole process. But the start of that process feels like it's happening fairly soon with these Wands cards. Yep. Seems like a fairly good sign that things are going in the right direction already. So good luck. Just keep at it, like keep the same energy that you have been. You're welcome. Good luck with all of that. Where are you going, little girl? Say hi to your adoring fans. That's right. It's okay, Luke. Sometimes, um, for some reason, sometimes with like live streams, you have to like either close out the entire app and then come back, or just refresh if you're on the browser or something. I don't know why that is. A few of the other people that I follow, like their live streams, have said that they're not they themselves, but like their chatters have had issues as well. That's right, Luna. I know, it's crazy. Oh, so just a reminder, Syl and I are going to go live on the 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a little early in the month, but we're ironically we're going to be doing the end of year tarot tag. We didn't do it last month because we did our own tarot tag. But yeah, so mark your calendars. We will be going live to talk about our favorite decks of the year, what we've most used during the year, and all of that. I know. It's very quiet right now. I feel like breaking through that 1 hour mark is so hard for me. Like, I hit an hour and I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go. Even Luna's like, come on. We've been watching, binge watching Stranger Things. I got my mom into it, and then she like surpassed me when she got home. I didn't watch season 5 because when I say I literally did not remember the details of seasons 1 through 3, and I only barely remembered season 4. I could not remember. I couldn't remember what happened when to who and why. So we binged it together, and mom actually really liked it. And so we finished off at season 4, and then she left after Christmas, and then she like finished season 4 like within 2 days. I was like, oh no, I'm only like halfway through. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. My side says, oh yeah. Oh, restream might show 4 because of the stream bots. Yeah, you're right. It's probably 2. That's fine. Did you want a reading, Luke? Do you want a bone reading? Did you stop watching Stranger Things because it took too long for the seasons to come out, or you just weren't interested anymore? Because season 2 was when it got really interesting. Like, season 2 was objectively a very good season. All right. Let's do a bone reading for you. All right. Reading for Luke. All right, this was our D12 that fell off. So D12 fell off, so timing is not necessarily important here in terms of like the grand scheme of stuff. There's like inherent timing that happens in my bones, but then this fell off. I don't think it's necessarily important. I'll revisit it later. You have a huge scattering overall, right? You have some clusters. We have this clear delineation here of this stuff. And then we kind of have this happening. And then we have this small cluster and then this guy hanging out. Oh, I guess like this happening. So, let me turn my mic around a bit. So let's look at everything. So we have our, I always forget, always have to look up the meaning of my dice because I can never remember what the elements mean. One sec. Gotta log into my notebook. This is like 25 factor login. Jesus. All right. One of these days I'll remember my dice. Okay, so this is our D4 here. Landed on a 2, so this is overall going to be fire as like the theme of everything. And then we have our D100, so this is 77. Ooh, you have 7s. One sec. Okay, so 7s in general, since you have double 7s here, I decided to look it up. This is like the thinker. This is the spiritual analyst, representing introspection, wisdom, and intuition. So that's really cool. But the in the grand scheme of my actual dice, this represents more of an intermediate external influence on things. So just keep that in mind as we go along. So down here we have I kind of look at this little mini cluster here. We have it seems like there were some new opportunities with some finances that happened that didn't necessarily pan out well, but there were a lot of lessons learned from that, just about the relationship with money, and opened you up to being able to explore other things and ultimately understanding new perspectives behind it. So it seems like even though this wasn't necessarily the best thing for you at the time, it did open you up to sorry, let me mute my phone. It did open you up to just understanding things in a different light. And overall, this points to a lot of growth here. On this side of things, it really solidifies your desire to want to put in a lot of hard work for things. And I think that this has reinvigorated your connection with friends. This cluster here is really nice because it feels like you have reinvigorated friendships that maybe you didn't feel like you had the energy to put into previously. So just keeping that in mind. I think that there's hard work between all of that, and that's what led to that. Over here, this is interesting. So we have our self bone right here, which is it's always curious when the self bone is not at the more forefront of the reading, when there are other bones leading it. So there are things that are ahead of you. I tend to see the self bone as us in the now, and then anything behind it somewhat past, and then anything ahead of it in the future, whether near or long term. So this is crossing our self bone here. This bone here is I would say this is like anxieties around how things are changing. But I think that there's a need to check in with your spirit team about being able to find more balance around these things, so that way you can take the changes in stride and they don't feel so overwhelming, because there's leading to these other things here, right? So I think that you have started to overcome the anxieties around it, but you're still a little inflexible about it. Like, it still kind of hasn't allowed you to open up into forward movement, and there's still some fears around how that is, right? And I think some of it stems, so there's a desire and need, I would say, to reconnect. I won't say reconnect, to connect with your spirit team on this issue specifically, but I know some of it seems to stem from your relationship with your family, and they seem like it seems a little bit like a roadblock for you, in a way, like how the relationship and dynamics are, because all of this is leading up to that point. This, I actually think, that makes more sense. Okay. So I think that you need to, there's a relationship and dynamic that needs to be cleared up that makes it difficult for you to handle change with your family. And it could be because your family has so many chaotic things happening that any ounce of change feels stressful for you, and it makes it hard to really want to deal with that. Let me see what this die is. This is 2. Okay. So that this is a D8. This is the stage of the event of these things. So this feels very new, and it feels like, there's going to be a progression of things happening. So I know you saw my bone readings, or my bone videos. This is something I would do a tarot reading on. So I recommend you taking this, and I would use your spirit team as part of your divination. Oh my god, the cats are fighting. Use your team as a part of your divination to see how you can overcome, or how you can find balance in a situation that kind of feels chaotic, because your theme here seems to be balance, overcoming fears, and accepting change. There's a slight disconnect over here about your openness to relationships. Feels like your last few have been a little disappointing when you've opened yourself up. So it's just a sidebar thing to keep in mind, because it is still ahead of your self bone, and that means it's still affecting how you take forward steps in, like, how you navigate the future, right? So overall, it seems like you have a few things that you need to overcome, challenges, obstacles wise. Oh, that did happen. Okay, you had a friend who you thought was too busy with life reached out for you. That's good. It's nice that you're like reconnecting, right? So these are things that you're, when I say past, it doesn't mean like it's something that's necessarily behind you. It could also be things that I think are actively with you now, and some things that I do think are behind you but shape how you are now. It's a weird nuance. Sometimes you just got to get red to Philathon the 2nd of January, right? Yeah, I think that, because the reality is, we're most likely not going to change people, but we can change how people affect us, right? And how we navigate dealing with stressful situations that we are that we are a part of, right? So I think I'll put this over here. Yes, what a year indeed. Hi, Queen Bee. Hi, Savannah. So, if you want to join the queue, make sure you use exclamation point join to join the queue. Um, but Savannah, I can go ahead and get you now. There's no one in the queue, so but just for future notes, so you're aware. Uh, Grab this. You're welcome. Let me know what your question is. So, just as a note, I don't do questions about like people's feelings or intentions, but I can read about people's connections, like your connection with other people. Um, and I, of course, don't do like legal, health, pregnancy, stuff like that, since I'm not a doctor or a lawyer. So, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that like button. Let's see how your year will go. Let's see. So we have the Eight of Wands and Nine of Swords. It's interesting because another reading I did was an 8 and 9. It was an 8 and 9 of Swords. Interesting. Okay. So I think that this year is going to be challenging for you, but I think it can also be very rewarding, right? So the Nine of Swords is a very stressful card. This is oh my goodness, what did they knock down? Sorry, my cats are they are on the verge of an ass whooping. um so the Nine of Swords, this is really feeling like you are dealing with a lot of the stressors of life and you are internalizing this as anxiety. But I think part of this journey for this year is learning how to distance yourself from some of that. And there's so the Eight of Wands is a high energy card. There's a lot, I know, typical cats, right? There's a lot of changes and a lot of movement that's happening. So even though things feel stressful, I think that this is about using a lot of that energy to overcome it. So it's about overcoming the challenges that we have, leaving behind some of the challenges and how you're going to do that. But the thing is, I love that you have the wands and swords together, right? We have this fire, we have this air. It's very fueling, and it helps you keep moving in the right direction as long as you keep setting those directions for yourself, right? Um, so I think that this can be a rewarding year for you. It just might feel a little bit of a beat down for a bit, but I think when you can look back and reflect on 2026, you think like, wow, I really like kicked ass. I think that's the feeling that I get from this reading. So it kind of sucks, right? Like nobody wants to hear like, oh, you have some challenges that you have to overcome in the beginning of the year, right? But I think that sometimes it's just kind of one of those things that we have to deal with. And uh, I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing. It kind of mirrors a lot of, I know you weren't here for our community reading, but it mirrors a lot of what I saw in the community reading about taking charge of our own directions and leaving behind things that make us feel like we're in fight or flight mode. So I think that's what it is, shedding those anxieties, shedding those stressors, but that's not without a lot of hard work and determination. So I guess that's up to you if you feel like that's going to be a good year, but I think it could be a good year. I think it's just going to be a lot of work. All right, guys, hold on one second. I'm going to see what these guys knocked over. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Luna decided she wanted to knock over my water bottle. So I had one drying out. This is my like medium bottle. Same height, but imagine like a bottle like this wide, and she knocked it over. Luckily it was in its case, so I don't think she like messed it up or anything. Alrighty, Lord Edwards, you are up next. Thank you for being patient while I go see what Queen Luna decided to get into. Oh, Lori. I'm sorry, Lori Edwards, not Lord Edwards. Although it's 2026, anybody can be lured nowadays. All right, let's reshuffle this deck here. Ooh, nice shuffle. Let me know what your question is, Lori. Ooh, okay. Totally not surprised by these questions. I love the beginning of year check-in. All right, here we go. Ooh, this year is gonna have. I feel like this year is gonna be the year of achievement for you, and um, a lot of movement. So we have the World card and the Chariot. You have two major arcana, so this is going to be I feel like this is going to be a big year for you. Like, I mean, two major arcana cards here. This is going to be very impactful overall. So the World card is like, I think you have a few things where you're closing out a few chapters, or maybe a very, very important chapter. The World card indicates that you are going to achieve that thing, right? This is where the hero finishes their journey, and then you can start new with something else, or that's where you can finally start to refocus on the other things that you want to do. But I love this World card because it's like, you finish the journey, it opens up, a portal into the next steps of things. You've reached that, you have achieved that end goal, so to speak. And then you can move on to the Chariot. So the Chariot, this feels like you're taking control and you're finally getting some direction in how you want things to move this year. So it feels very much like you finally have the reins, so to speak. And you have the control over how you are moving and navigating the year. That maybe 2025 didn't quite give you. Maybe you're starting to feel like you're on the cusp of it, but you never quite got there. And then I think together, the idea of the Chariot and the World card just insinuates that there's this growth that's happening. I think, if I'm recalling correctly, the World card is like the earth element, and then the Chariot is water. I always want to say Chariot's fire, but I think it's water. So there's this slow and stillness that's happening this year as well. So while things are moving in a good direction, they don't feel rushed or hectic or chaotic or anything like that. It feels like, like the Chariot indicates, that you are in control of how you're pacing through the year. It doesn't feel like it's going to get ahead of you or get out of your control. But yeah, this year looks really good. I'm very curious to know what this World card's going to actually manifest as, if you don't quite have an idea yet. But it looks like a great year for you, especially in terms of taking control over your year and your own destiny throughout this year. Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions? I have some book goals, but I didn't set any actual New Year's resolutions. You're very welcome, Lori. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe. you are. I was like, your name seems very familiar. I actually did one for Luke earlier. I need to do some more like um videos, like actual videos of my bone readings. That's just like examples and stuff like that of like actual practical readings that I generally do. Um Actually, Lori, I mean, would you like a general bone reading? I could do one for you if you'd like to see one. I don't know if you got to catch Luke's or not. Awesome. Okay, let's do one real quick. Okay, so for me, my set, I just do general readings, and then I like to, point out where you might want to go in more depth with a tarot reading based off of the situations that unfold. So it's overall going to just be a general, holistic, like 5,000 shot overview of things that are like previously behind us, where we are now, and where we are ahead, usually. This is the overall scheme of things. So let's see what yours is going to be. All right, general reading for Lori. All right, we didn't have anything fall off. So we have this cluster down here, and then we have this like big cluster here, but we have the small one, this one, they're kind of like conjoining, and then we have like these independent pieces. This is a little connected, but not quite. So your self bone is here. I consider like things here and up because of the proximity of your self bone. I consider that to be fairly present, and I wouldn't consider this necessarily near future like I did with Luke's. And then this is sort of like past, yeah, from like here down, so to speak. So we have a few things that are going on. I'm going to move some things around just so I can see and I can point things out to you. We have right here, we have this overlap of this piece here can represent deities, ancestors, spirit guides. I generally ask people like what of the three is interesting to them or that they follow, or sometimes it could just be overarching spirituality if you don't do any of those things. So that will be my question for you. But there's this like relationship with money that I feel like your guides were wanting to work with you on, and I don't know if you explored that or not. I think that's something that might have gotten left in the past that you might want to try to reconnect, and you might want to reconnect with that and kind of explore this and see what's going on with this, because it's slightly disconnected. It's part of this group, but it was just something that stood out to me. Here we have some disappointments and negativity around some opportunities that were presented to you and that you just learned were not right for you. Overall, it was a lesson learned about it. I forgot too that I should talk about your dice. Where's the other one? There it is. So we have 48. So this seems to encompass essentially the whole board. So 48 is your like, I guess I'll say it's like a lot of internal things that are difficult to overcome. They're more of an internal challenge that you're facing. That's not to mean that there aren't external influences. But this back here seems like you were a little beat down for a bit, and you've been working hard to distance yourself from it. But I don't know necessarily that you've overcome it. You just distanced yourself from it. So whatever this this opportunity that you had presented to you previously that either didn't feel like it worked out, was wrong for you, just overall didn't wasn't making you happy, and you learned from it, but um or you it changed your perspective on things is actually how I want to word that. And you've worked hard to get away from it, but um it's still lingering there. We have this earth energy here. This is something that is just part of, like, oh, thank you, Kristen. Okay, I will get you next. Um, Thank you for letting me know. I did see the pop up. Oh, ancestors. Awesome. So, ooh, this could be a sign to do some ancestor magic in terms of finances then. Um, if that's something that has been interesting you, like nagging at you in the back of your mind. Uh but yeah, so then there's a almost like a clear divide, right, between all of this. These are somewhat separate in a way. You have your family here, you have your friends here, but they're a little disconnected from everything that's going on. Um, it's something to look further into about this if you feel like you haven't been connecting in the way that you would like to with these, with your friends, with your family, with people that are important to you. um, it's just something to keep in mind. So going up here to explore your self bone, the good thing is you're not buried. Actually, it looks like you're working on burying yourself, for lack of better words, from things that you'd been dealing with. What is this? This is 3. So this time frame in the center of your reading is 3. This could represent March, or well, 3 months from now, I guess, would kind of be March. So March is March-ish time frame. You might start to see some of this, like, or feel some of this actually. Hmm, what's the word? Like, you might actually be feeling the results of some of this going away, or some of the other work that you've been putting into. So your self bone, you're only slightly covered up by this stressor here. This is our change bone. This one is a very common one to uh, weigh down the self bone. A lot of people struggle with the different changes that are happening, but I don't think that you're not completely buried. It's just something that you have to deal with from time to time. You put behind you other fears and anxieties, which is great. It's just be careful about letting this. Uh, mm, be careful about letting this change affect your mental health, because there is a little bit of a roadblock there. So there's some need to clarify or to clear this up. So this is one of those situations that I would say would be good to get a tarot reading on, and then this one back here would be another one that would be good to get a tarot reading on. This one, in terms of how can you evolve or accept, or whatever the word is, this situation back here. And then this, what tools do you need to overcome the stressors of these different changes that are happening? How can you open the roads ahead of yourself um, for those different changes, stuff like that. Just as examples. If you do your own readings, I always recommend just go ahead and take some of those lessons or some of those points that I'm talking about, and do your own reading. Over here, we do have some more separate ones. This is balance. I would love for this to have been a little closer to this cluster, so that way it feels like you're starting to find balance there, but there's still a little bit of lack of that. Um, Not completely. It's there. It's like on the horizon. It's just, I wish it was a little closer. Um, that I think would push this closer as well, which is like new growth, and or growth in general rather, and being able to grow and change and evolve, and do your thing how you want to do your thing. um So, that's another opportunity for a tarot reading as well, where you can look into like how can you invite more balance into your life, or how can you what steps do you need to take to grow into a new version of you, stuff like that, um for example. So yeah, so that was your bone reading. Let me know if you have any questions. So Kristen, I know you mentioned you wanted to do a general reading. Do you want uh like what I just did with the bones, or do you want it to be more of a mini tarot reading? Just let me know, because I'm happy to do either or um I could do like a small combination where I do the bones, and then the instances that I feel like might need a tarot card, I can pull a card. um Let me know. You're very welcome. Thanks for letting me pull my bones out. I guess my mini goal for myself is to do more bone readings during my live streams. I Luke has been hounding me. He and Sil and Midnight have been like, do more bone readings during your live stream. So I'm trying, guys. You're biased, but I appreciate it. Lori, that's so awesome. It definitely just takes practice, and I've like it's like a muscle that I have to keep using. When I took a large break from doing my bone readings, it felt like I wasn't obviously starting from scratch, but it felt like I could tell I had not done readings in a while. So be patient with yourself. Don't rush it. Enjoy the process. Stringing them together can be the hard part. And one of the things that I did early on is that um, I just offered free bone readings to people under the guise of, hey, I'm learning and I need like feedback, you know? So when I first started, I would try to answer specific questions, and I realized I couldn't do it. Not with my set. I could see pieces of questions, like answers, but then it would just give me too many other details. Yeah, yeah, I just taught myself. I assigned the meanings to my bones and did some sample throws with like meaningless sample throws just to see how they interacted with each other. And then and I still do that. Like if I add in pieces, like when I added in the dice, I when I added in the dice, I just did some sample throws, just like for no meaning, no real reading, just so I could see how the dice fit and if I felt like they fit. So anytime I add stuff to it, I do that as well. So it's always a learning process. Okay, awesome. Okay. Midnight. Yeah, Luke definitely did get a little bit of a call out. Okay, Kristen, let's see. Let's do your general reading. General reading for Kristen. Ooh, okay. So we had a few things fly off. Piece of the D 100. So I'm going to pull that other one off. Part of it was a little bit of a hard throw, but I think this is fine. I'm just gonna I'm not even gonna shift it. I'll just leave everything as is, and we'll just kind of look at everything. So what's interesting, let me scoot this up so you can see the whole board here. Actually, I'll point out that this is our change bone, our notorious bone between Lori and Luke that kept popping up. And then this is the counter to this bone here. This is more so like when a situation is wearing on you or beating you down, kind of very 10 of Wands coded. So that fell off the board. Their amplification, well, minus the change bone. The other one is their, and the dice are amplification thing. So they're falling off the board is sort of meaningless. The change bone could mean a few things, and I'll kind of see once I get to that point. So back here we have it seems like we have like the closure of some situations, actually. And then this here is our elements die, which I always have to look up. I'm terrible. I can never remember the own elements that I give to my dice. So 3 is water, which is nice. Water is the healing element. There's a little bit of it can be a slow meandering flow of energy. And it could be restorative. So that's overall like none of the elements are bad, right? But I think that just based off of what I'm seeing, this is a good thing to have. And then this is our D12. This is our like calendar here. This is 12 months. So I think that this is going to be a year-long journey for you overall. So just some preliminary things to keep in mind. So back here, we have a lot of things that are spread out, but I think ultimately you found some balance with some stuff. So it seems like there were some past disappointments with some relationships that had happened, some disappointments with some opportunities that you thought you might be getting, or opportunities that fell through. And overall, you just kind of took it in stride, it seems. And there is that sort of... It's not something that weighs on you too heavily. There's a healthy balance of reflecting on the situation, but not lingering on the situation. I'm gonna move some stuff to clear some things out. Some of the amplifiers sometimes are separate because they're not necessarily important to the thing. So I like to clear the board if I can. So here we have on an island of 1 is our, this is, I mentioned with Lori, our like spiritual bone. This can represent spirit guides. It can represent deities or gods, can represent ancestors. So I always ask, like, do you work with any of them? And if not, it could just represent overall spirituality. So let me know. But the thing is that stands out is that this is on an island by itself. You're very disconnected from it. And it's almost like you've kind of put it on the back burner. So your self bone is here. And this is not even connected to this main cluster in any kind of way. So, so this is something, let me pull a quick tarot card for you on this. Whoopsie, throwing cards. And let's see what, I guess I can just say what kind of advice we have for this standalone bone here. Ooh, so we have the 9 of Cups. So the 9 of Cups makes me feel like this is not something you necessarily want to be on an island by itself. It's not something you want to push off. So I would say, taking that knowledge, like, find ways to reconnect in a way that it works for you and is emotionally just makes you happy, right? It doesn't have to, and don't make it feel like work. So this mirrors what I see here in this water card, because cups imbue that water energy. And we have our water element here with this D4. So this I also see as like the wish fulfillment card. So if there's stuff that you do really want to work with, your guides or whoever they are, um, make sure you make that more of a priority this year than it has been in the past. I know, Luke. I've made honestly, I'm shocked I've made it this long without dropping cards. I'm doing good. Probably because I only had like one glass of wine tonight. But yeah. So then we move on here. It seems like I mean, I'm curious what this is, like a family business or family money that you're coming into. This is our family bone here, paired with some finances. Over here, it looks like we have, ooh, you've been working hard on just, this is our truth bone. This is like our hard work card, and this is like an amplifier and like, mm, longevity. So this is something that you've been really putting a lot of focus into. And I think that it, the way that I would describe this is really uncovering the transparencies of oneself, right? Where you start to uncover pieces of yourself and learn about who you are and what you want and the things that are important to you. And that's what this feels like here, which is really, really great. If that's what it is that's going on. Um, it feels like it's ongoing because this little paw here was still on top. I can't even get it right anymore, but was still on top of this truth bone. But it seems like it's an ongoing process. Oh, you don't work with them, but you want to. Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. I'll clarify this in a bit. So then we go on to the self bone. This is really cool because your self bone is completely untethered. You have a little bit of inflexibility. You're a little like pigeonholed in, but you're not buried, which is fine because sometimes it's hard when you're feeling like you gotta like claw yourself out from under things. But if you feel like you just can't pivot right now, and it just takes some time to get away from that, that's totally fine. It looks really like you have started to put behind any fears and anxieties around just being able to, and what I think this goes back to this change bone that fell off, like you just letting change happen and not letting it tether you to stagnation, so to speak. Part of it seems like you have some growth that has been fueled by some friends. And like I said, you still have some, I mean, we all do, right? We still have some anxieties that can make us a little inflexible, a little bit. But I don't think that it's something that is really holding you back. I mean, at the end of the day, like your self bone is just flinging off of the board in the sense like if you feel untethered and ready to move forward and ready to like take that next step. So if you're wanting to explore more with the ancestors or deities like this spirit bone, let's see what kind of I'll just pull two cards, some advice for how to do that. mm, mm. You have reservations about wanting to explore this like spiritual side, because we have the Five of Pentacles and the Tower, but the original card I pulled was the Nine of Cups, which is a very happy card. So I think in order to get there, there's really the need to like open yourself up to them and be vulnerable in a way that could be very uncomfortable. The Five of Pentacles is about feeling like you don't have the resources to do so, but you feel that way, but it doesn't mean you don't actually have those resources. So it's just a mindset shift, right? And part of that is going to be, oh God, Apollo is like staring me dead in the face. He's like, Mom, you've been on here too long. The tower is about, breaking down all of the walls you have. So this could be, for example, if you hold on to past religious stigma or traumas, or if you just you feel like you don't have the support group that you need to be able to make these changes. It could be a few different things, but at the end of the day, you need to break down those walls so you can open yourself to receiving and communicating and connecting with this more spiritual side of yourself. That was a long one. I feel like I was talking for a long time. Hey, Sunny. Sunshiny. Sorry, I forgot to click your thing in the queue, Kristen. Just ignore that. Let it go and let it flow. I love that. Do you have any other questions since you paid for a mini? Just like any clarifying things that you want me to pull a card on, or if things already make sense and you just kind of want to explore them yourself, that's totally cool as well. So Sunshiny, once I finish this up, I will get to your reading, and then I'm actually going to close the queue because I reached my goal. But you're still in it, so you don't have to worry. Let me see if I can take a picture. Yeah, this is him. He's literally sitting like right there. Just mean mugging for no reason. He's not even saying anything. Since I'm wrapping up with Kristen, just doing some last minute stuff, Sunshiny, go ahead, put your question in the chat. I know he's giving me the eye, but like, it's not time to eat yet. He has 2 more hours. Like, even Luna has given up. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for letting me do your thank you for purchasing a mini read. And you can always contact me on Ko-fi if like you think back on some questions and you have a quick question. Whoop, that was not a good shuffle. Not sexy at all. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. You want me to clarify the tarot real quick? So, Sunshiny, I will get you in 1 second. Let me... Give me a sec. I'm going to pick the tower out so we can focus on it. All right. So let's pull 2 more cards and see, like, What are details of this tower here that you need to focus on? I know the tower can be scary for people, but I don't think that, you know, I think it's about being able to get down to the foundational things. So this as a reminder was in reference to connecting with yourself, like more spiritually, whether it be with your ancestors, deities, whatever. So I pulled the Ace of Wands and the Five of Swords. So the aces are great. I like that this popped up because it's indicative that the tower is going to help you take that first step. And I think the scary thing with the tower is sometimes it feels like a uncontrolled change, but it doesn't have to be. The core of the tower is about getting to the foundation and the root of who you are. That journey can be scary also for people. But I think that in doing so, it opens you up to taking a fresh step. The Ace of Wands is about finding that spark of passion. So this could, and I'll put some like realistic references, so it's not so like intangible. So for example, like if you're exploring the spiritual side of yourself, you have to understand like what is it you even want spiritually, like who are you spiritually, and what is it you want to learn, why do you want to connect. These are all like really basic questions, but they can be really hard to answer if you're not exploring the depths of yourself and kind of getting to the root of yourself. And once you discover those things, the Ace of Wands comes in that, oh, I understand the answers to these questions. Maybe not in depth, but now I know which path I want to go down to explore. And this is where you find that spark of inspiration. And I think that, so we have wands here, we have swords here. So we have a combination of fire and air. So this is a lot of high energy. This is really good sign for being able to take those steps and being able to have a lot of fuel and push behind you. So the Five of Swords is interesting because this is all about how you're managing your internal ambitions, right? So how ambitious are you being in this journey? Is this something that you are going to put on the front burner or the back burner? And you have the energy, that high energy, that movement behind you, but it's about how you utilize it. So the tower is really saying, like, once you get to that foundational point, what are you going to do next? So I think that's what these next steps are going to be. It's about taking that first step down, and those first steps could be if it's working with your ancestors, exploring who your ancestors were, like hearing stories from family, or if you guys have family trees, or if it's more so deities, doing research on those deities and exploring which ones might be right for you. Or if it's your spirit team, connecting with your spirit team, doing readings with them and trying to understand what their energy is, what their focus is with you right now, stuff like that. So trying to give you some actionable ideas so it's not so not so woo-woo and not so you can understand a little better. But once you do understand those things, I think that you can start to be a little more ambitious, right? You know which direction you're going to go. You know which direction you're gonna go, and you know now like how you want to shape things, and you want to shape that relationship going forward. So hopefully that makes sense for you, Kristen. Alrighty, sunshiny. Thank you for being patient while I finished up my paid reading. Mia, you just missed me. I will be live next week though at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. So catch me then. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss me, so you can catch me next time. Let's see what your love message, Sunshiny, for 2026 is going to be. And one more. Here we go. Getting a lot of swords as a community. Oh, and we have a few repeats as a community as well. So we have the Nine of Swords and the Hierophant. I don't know right now if there's going to be love coming in. This feels very much like it's not. And anything that does come in right now is not necessarily going to be the right timing. Nine of Swords is a high anxiety card. So it feels like the mental timing of things, it just isn't right now. There's a need, I feel like, right, for you to level out. And I don't know if you're putting pressure on yourself with, finding someone. It doesn't necessarily feel like you are, but there could be other pressures that are weighing on you that just kind of pull you out of this mindset, in terms of being in the right frame of mind to receive the right kind of attention from people. And then on the other side here, we have the Hierophant. This is indicative to me that maybe you need to bounce ideas off of someone who you trust in this aspect. So someone you see in a healthy relationship, or maybe someone who has known your past relationship journey, and bounce ideas. And don't make it a singular journey. Have some people that your tribe, right? The support group that can help you shape how you tackle this. Kristen, exactly. And Sunshiny, you're very welcome. Thank you for hanging out with me towards the end of the end of my night, anyways. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna get off of here. Luke, Kristen, Lori, thanks for letting me pull out my bones. Totally appreciate it. I will see you guys next week, next Friday. I'm gonna push this up. I'm instead of 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see you next Friday at 6. All right, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.